A lot of things been on my mind lately. A lot of things I've been ruminating and contemplating. A lot of things have been stolen and taken by Satan. A lot of things I don't know about, I'm just trying to make it, but he can't faze me. Forget the 10, my Lord God made me.
All right, hey, welcome back to the Growth Environment. Man, I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in with us. This is a podcast that's dedicated to your personal development and business growth. So we post every Monday and Wednesdays. Mondays, we have a segment called MM, which stands for Monday Message, where you hear messages from me on your personal development. And Wednesdays, we have our segment called WWW, which is our Wednesday's Word from the Wise. And that's where I sit down with awesome guests that are business owners, investors, that give us nice tips and tricks on how to run a business, start a business, etc. I've been really enjoying those episodes. I hope you guys have too. I've been actually catching up with a lot of old-time friends back here in Arizona, and I've been loving that. I know I'll be reaching out to different guests that I know across the states just to learn from them, just get different ranges of perspective. And so anyways, glad you guys are back. This is another Growth Toolbox episode. If you haven't, I would highly recommend that you guys go back to episode 3, where we talked about the 5 F's. And, we talked about that this is important that we have that in order, or, not perfection, but just in order, progress over perfection. But these 5 F's are important because when we don't have these in order, or if it's in disorder, it makes it really hard for us to grow in the things that we want, especially personal development. And so those 5 F's are faith, family/friends, our feelings, finance, and fitness. And so, again, we're going to be taking each episode to kind of break down each specific one of those to really gain an understanding on that. And so today we're talking about family/friends, family/friends. And so this is important because the people around us, our circle that's in our life, the people that are in our ear constantly, the people that you interact with. We all heard that saying, tell me who your 5 closest friends are, and I'll tell you who will be in the next 5 years. And those are kind of cliches that we hear, but I found it to be so true. The people that you interact with, the people that you do life with, do make an influence on your life. And so sometimes in life, what we have to do, we have to audit the people that are in our circle. We have to audit to ensure that, man, this is the right environment for growth and that this is a place that's in order. And so, we could talk on a wide range of things because, again, there are some that are listening that are single, some that are married, some that, have kids, don't have kids. So we can go through a wide range of discussions. So I'm going to keep it really simple. And again, there's a lot more things to unpack and a lot more things to go through. But as you listen and become a listener of the Growth Environment podcast, I'm sure we'll discuss some of more of those things in depth. Okay. So again, I want to bring this back to remembrance as what we're talking about these things. I'm talking about, progress, not perfection. Going in the right direction, because when you're going in the right direction, it's not going to be a distraction to you. You may not be where you want to be, but you are not where you were. And so when you're in that direction and you're in that right path, it doesn't become a distraction to you, and it allows you to create those opportunities to grow. So talking about family and friends, first we got to get the right priority down. This is a priority that I live by. This is a priority that I've seen, really exampled by my father. I'm thankful to have him in my life, and he's just excellent. I love my dad. So the right priority in our life, it's God first. Again, go back to episode 1, your framework. We're a spirit, we have a soul, and we live in a body. In this podcast, we're going to talk very practical. Yes, we're going to challenge our mental, our thinking, our insight, our emotions. But also, we're going to talk spiritually too, because this is key. This is the foundation of it all. If we don't have this locked in, or we don't have this solid, it's, the rest is going to crumble. And so, our priority first is it comes to God. Why? Because it's our foundation. Something that my dad shared just a couple Sundays ago. I'll put the message in the show notes below. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. But he talked about that, you can't give unconditional love if you haven't received unconditional love. And man, I found that to be so true. I can't give what I don't have. If I don't have love, I'm not going to be able to give love. So if you're single and you're looking for a spouse, you're looking for someone that, man, I want to do life with and live my life with, man, find someone that has their life rooted in Jesus or has their life rooted in God. Because when they know that they're loved by God and God is their first love, then, the relationship that you have with that person, it's going to go together seamlessly, man. It's going to be, not to say that there's not ever going to be bumps or not going to be ever time of conflict or issues. You will have those and you will walk through those, but with your trust in Jesus, you're going to be able to get through them and get past them and walk through it successfully. And so God has to be our priority. Ultimately, again, you cannot give what you don't have. God is He is the epitome of love. He is love. And so when you have Him in your life, you're able to give that freely. And so I found that to be super true. All right, priority after God, it comes to your spouse. If you're married, your spouse is next. Your spouse is your number two. Your spouse is your ride or die, man. They're your partner. I can't tell you, I got to shout out Ella because she has been so good for me, and she'll say the same, that I've been so good for her. But I'm so thankful that she's in my life. I can't think of, I can't imagine all the times that I've gone on other dates with different people or been connected with other people. And you would think like, is this the one or is this not? Now that I'm with Ella, it's like there's no shadow of doubt, man, this is my one, man. This is, who the Lord's blessed me with. And I'm so thankful to have her in my life. But she has to be priority in my life. She can't, my friends or my family, my job, ministry cannot come before her. She comes before all of that. We're excited. We're going to be having a baby boy, and I'm so thrilled. July, we're expecting to have our boy come in to this world. But even at that precious child, I love that child, and I know I'm going to love, and it's crazy because, to think that, man, I can love someone that I haven't even met yet. Man, I'm so excited to be a dad. I'm so excited to love this child. But again, my love or my priority before that child is my wife. Man, my wife comes first. My wife is priority over that. Because when you're married, man, you're one. You become one with that person. It's you and your spouse against the world. The Bible tells you, told Adam and Eve to have dominion over the world. And what ends up happening a lot of times is, in relationships is you try to have dominion over each other. Man, I'm so thankful for Ella. Ella, she complements a lot of areas that I'm weak in. She's very detail oriented. I'm very big picture. She's very, quick and get her done. I'm very, that can be delayed because I can do this, right? So her strength, man, she compliments me so well. I'm so thankful for Ella, but our spouse has to be number two in our life. That's the priority that they have to take. Again, third is your kids. Man, if you have kids in your life, man, that's a responsibility that you have. That's something that, God blessed you with, to have kids. So make it every point in your life to be a part of your kid's life. Like I said earlier, I'm super thankful for my dad to be a good example of that. My dad being in my life, I'm so thankful because there's a lot of examples and a lot of life lessons that he's taught me that as I went out to Colorado, I'm super thankful that I had those life lessons in my life and had those conversations. If you're a guy in here, man, I'm telling you, mostly guys listen to this podcast. So you guys are the men, man. You guys are getting it done. But I encourage you, man, if you have kids in your life, man, make it every part to be a part of their lives. Even if you're separated from your spouse, man, if you are separated from your spouse and you don't have custody of your kids, again, make it every intentionality to be a part of your kids' lives, man. Your kids need you. There are men that need to be raised, and men can only be raised by men, not other people. They need you. They need you. But yeah, spouses is kids is number three, right? They come right under our spouse. Even for us, Ella and I, it's something that we have, we've talked about as we're excited for this child to come in. But, we've talked that, man, we take priority over that. Our relationship with each other, it comes first. And here's the reason why is because what ends up happening when you don't do that is, you have kids that will move and leave on. Once they're 18, they're out, or older, they're out. They're living their life. And what can end up happening is, you have an empty nest and you're looking at the person next to you and saying, who are you? No, you want to be able to know that, man, that's my wife or that's my husband that I've done life with. And we were able to raise men and raise women to go out and be successful in life. And so these are important. Family, your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your relatives, all those people, they come under your spouse and your kids. This is important, guys, especially like in my culture, the Hispanic culture. Family means everything, right? Family's huge. Family's the bloodline, man. And I agree. I think family is huge and family is important. But family should never take priority over your kids, over your wife, and over your relationship with God. You should be being moved and directed based on your convictions that you have with God. You should be moved and directed based off the relationship that you have with you and your wife. You should be moved by the culture that you've created with your wife and your kids. Your family, as when they come a part of that, they shouldn't be dictating that culture. That should be something that you've decided with your spouse and your relationship with God. So family has a good place to play, and it's good. It's good to be a part of family. It's good to interact with your family, but it should never take priority over your relationship with God, your spouse, and your kids. So honor them, honor your family, honor them and love them, but never put them over your kids and never put them over your spouse. All right? Sometimes you have to have those tough conversations. That's what the Bible tells us when we get married, to leave and cleave. Right? We're supposed to leave, and I'm super thankful for my mother-in-law. I know Ella is super thankful for my dad, because we've always felt that from them, is that they've allowed us to live our life. They know we're their kids, yes, but we're our own family that's starting and branching out. And so they've honored us and kept us. And honestly, because of that honoring, if you're a parent listening, because of that honoring that they have, man, we brought them more and more into our lives, because again, they know the priority of where they're at, and they know the priority of what we placed. All right. Your friends, again, the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. You need friends in your life. You need people that are going to push you, challenge you, not people that are just going to, make you feel good and tell you all what you want to hear. You want people that are going to challenge you and motivate you as well. All right. So in these relationships, I want to talk about, something that's helped me with kind of setting up boundaries, and just how I interact with all the different type of relationships that I have with family and friends. And I use the 80-20 rule, the Pareto rule. This is something that I learned. I'll list out a book to you. It's called Leadership Mastery by Billy Epperhart. I'll put it in the show notes below. But he uses this in leadership, but I've actually found this, very useful in family as well. I found this very useful in family as well. And he talks about this. He talks about how, if you're going to, have people in your life, everyone that you encounter, you should always give them love. The Bible tells us that we're to love one another. And that's so true. We need to give love and share love with everyone. So no matter who you interact with, that should always be your heart, that you're willing to give and share love. But, there's other things too that you can go more in depth with people. And so, in the book, he describes this kind of 4-step, ladder. And on one side, you have people that are spiritually unhealthy. Then you have people that are so that's one layer. The next layer is spiritually mature. Then you have people who are spiritually healthy. And then you have people that are spiritually mature. So in the book, he's talking about leadership, but what I've found in life, it's like, the 20% of your time that you should be giving is to people that are spiritually unhealthy or spiritually mature. In other words, people that are not going in the right direction that you're going, people that are not, necessarily core to your life, that should be 20% of your time that you're connecting with them. And when you're connecting with them, that should be all love. All love, man. Love them, care for them. Cheer for them, encourage them, and point them to Jesus. But then you have people that are spiritually healthy or spiritually mature. Or in other words, you have people that are going in the direction that you're going towards, people that are championing the growth that you're trying to do, to walk out in your life, that are, again, core to you, that falls in that priority list that we talked about earlier. And these are the people you want to spend 80% of your time with. And how do you interact with that 80%? Man, these are the people that I talk about my dreams with. These are the people that I ask, man, hold me accountable. The people that I ask to receive help from, advice. These are people that I give advice and I help. People I plan with, things that I develop with, or they develop me, vice versa, right? This is where I'm spending 80% of my time. And again, that's where it's getting more in depth. With the 20% people that I spend with my life, I'm not going to go into my dreams. I'm not going to ask them to hold me accountable. I'm not going to ask them, for real in-depth advice. Again, I'm connecting to that 80% of the people that are going in the direction that I'm trying to go after. And so that has been something that's been able to help me. It's just how I interact with people. Again, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to, be mean towards people. Everyone should get love. Everyone should be cared for. But it's just the amount of my time that I'm going to pour into or give. Man, that I'm going to that 80% that are spiritually healthy, spiritually mature, people that are going in the direction that I'm wanting to go in. All right. Lastly, I want to leave you guys with a couple book recommendations that I believe will help you grow and continually walk in your growth with your family and friends. And the first one is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Fantastic book. I can't help but recommend this book. I've read through this a couple of times, and it's just made a huge impact in my life. And the reason why it does, it's helped me to kind of walk through personal things of myself, because first, the book looks inwardly. The first 3 habits are looking inwardly in yourself and getting your framework, your paradigm, how you view things really dialed in. It's really talks about walking through a principled live life, and it's really good. And the next 3 habits are very practical, very things that interact with others and kind of in the outside world. So again, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, highly recommend. Another book is Crucial Conversations. Because here's the deal, guys. You're going to have conflict with the different people in your life. It's not if it's going to happen, it's when it happens. And so when you walk into conflict with people, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be someone that just shuts out. A lot of relationships are ruined because people don't know how to have, tough conversations with grace. And so Crucial Conversations is a great tool that has helped me walk through hard conversations with people. And so when you have to have hard conversations, it's not if that's going to happen, it's when it happens. It's good to have these kind of tools in your tool belt to walk out and navigate, because you want to get to the bottom line of things. When emotions are high, you're drunk on emotions. You don't talk right. You don't interact right. You say things you don't mean, or you hear things that weren't even said. So it's super important. So Crucial Conversations. And again, I'll put all these books in the show notes below. Speed of Trust is another great book. It just talks about the importance of trust and, how you can interact very quickly when there's trust. And in any relationships that you walk in, you want to have that level of trust. Also, there's other things that can help you in your conversations with people where you have distrust. And you can narrow down to the specifics. It's not that I don't trust your intentions, but maybe it's your outcomes, your results. It's not that I don't trust your character. It's how you went about doing what you did. So it's really good on how to walk and navigate those things. And then lastly is Necessary Endings by Dr. Henry Cloud. It's a fantastic book on just when to cut things off and how to do it and walk it out. Actually, I'll throw in this bonus one. I haven't read it yet, but I have a friend who has taught a course on this. And it's, Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. It is definitely on my reading list to go through. But that's another good book on setting boundaries. I'm going to be checking that out here soon. But like I said, I haven't read the book, but I have a friend, shout out to Nera. Her and her husband are awesome. But, she does a course on that at Karis, and that's been another really, really good book. And so highly encourage you guys to get those and invest in yourself. So again, if we're going to grow in our family and friends, first we got to have, our priorities set. We had to have it right. It's God, your spouse, kids, family, then friends. You get that in order, things are going to walk perfectly, or things are going to start walking in the right direction. And then the 80-20% rule, 80% of the time I'm spending with people are spiritually healthy and spiritually mature, people that are going in the direction I want to go in. That's who I'm going to share dreams with. That's who's going to keep me accountable. That's who I'm going to keep accountable. That's where, we're going to receive help and give help, etc. And the spiritually unhealthy is spiritually mature. There's nothing wrong with those type of folks, man. I love them, and we should all love them. We should give love to everyone, right? Everyone needs love, but it's 20% of my time. I'm not going to, invest all my time there. But in that time, I'm going to cheer them on. I'm going to love them. I'm going to, support them and, point them to Jesus, encourage them. But again, I'm going to put a lot of my time on that 80%. And again, the book recommendations I'll have listed down on the show notes below. But man, again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm excited for these episodes coming out and for you guys being a part. Love y'all. Peace.